Hello. Today we are going to talk about um, why juice fast. Why I started juice fasting, and not only the physical benefits, the mental benefits, the spiritual benefits, everything. How it ripples out into your life, how it's changed my life and continues to. And it's a healing the body is a journey. It's not just like one and done and you're complete. It's this journey, and you think you're doing pretty good, and then lo and behold there's another layer, just like emotional healing, just like any kind of healing. It's all connected. When we're healing our body emotionally, we're healing physically. When we're healing physically, it's connected to our emotions. Everything is connected. Anyways, don't mind I'm filming from my car as I've been traveling, camping and traveling through Vancouver Island and having a nice warm cup of cacao as it's been pouring rain today. It stopped raining. Anyways, just in some cozy vibes. So yeah, where to start? For the last 5 years now, I've been deeply, like my whole life has been about healing. Not so much of choice. It's just that's where my soul, my spirit was like, hey, we're ready to open the can of worms. And without even me looking, that can of worms was opened with my first healing session that it wasn't even that was purchased for me, and I didn't really know what I was about to get into, and I was super skeptical. And from that day forward, it was just like, I opened the can of worms and it was like, oh shit, there's a lot of shit in my closet that I thought I could just turn a blind eye from and it would eventually go away. Anyways, very, very long story short, I've been on this massive healing journey of healing my trauma. I thought it was just this one little thing, and then you peel it back, and then it's another thing, and then you peel it back, and there's this other thing. There's always layers and layers and layers. And, it led me to energy healing and coaching and, being coached and paying thousands and thousands of dollars for coaches and healers and plant medicine guides, and then walking that path myself and taking all the training to be a plant medicine, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of different words for it, but basically just walking the shaman's path. And yeah, I've done so much of all of the different modalities, the plant medicine therapies, all countless plant medicines. I've done them. Most of the plant medicines that you can name, I've worked with them. I've served them. I've held space for other people to work with them. The energy healing, the all the different kinds of healing with energy and what we have access to, and the coaching, the books, the courses, the trust falls of living nomadically and just trusting where spirit guides me, and quitting my 8-year career. And all this didn't happen at once. It was this natural unfolding that felt like the biggest crumbling of my life, and continues to be the biggest crumbling of my life as I'm rebuilt, as I'm being torn down to the foundation that wasn't even really there. There was never really a solid foundation there. So it's just being shaken down to my core so that I can be that, the divine within me is rebuilding me into who I was, the truth of who I always was, underneath all of the stories, the pain, the trauma, the suffering, all the shit that we're all carrying. Anyways, I'm trying to shorten this as much as possible. The moral of the story, or what I'm trying to get at, is with everything that I did, all of the healing, all of the tools that I learned, all of the modalities I've collected, all of the wisdom and information that I've collected, and so much of it, transformed me in so many different ways. I can't say that one is better than the other. They are just a different tool. It's like one screw, you need all of the screwdrivers, because sometimes there's a screw that doesn't match that screwdriver. You know, that's just the image that I'm getting in this moment to kind of help explain what I mean, because we collect all of these modalities and all of these tools in our toolbox, but not one of them treats all of us, you know? And, you know, after years of this journey, I knew, you know, like 2 years ago, I knew something was missing. I was like, hey, I'm still having so much digestive issues. Like, I'm bloated, and, you know, over those 5 years of transformation, meat just fell off. Like, it just, alcohol fell off naturally. I started to get really sick on alcohol. Like, literally, like, I'd drink like 1 or 2 drinks and then I'd have migraines. I'd be up all night, and then I'd be sick with like fever chills for 5 days. Like, my body started to respond to it like it was a poison, which it is. And then something very similar happened to my body with meat when I was like a bodybuilder eating 5 meat meals a day. And I'm not saying, a little bug on my hand, I'm not saying telling people what to eat or what not to eat. I'm speaking about my experience and why I am passionate about the lifestyle I am living now, and why I'm passionate about juicing and cleansing our bodies and living foods. Anyways, so basically, I knew something was missing. You know, I did so much plant medicine work, energy healing work, all of the things, and, you know, all of these different therapies as well. You know, I did enemas, like, did water fasting, I did dry fast, no, I didn't do dry fasting, I did water fasting, I did, coffee enemas, I did so many other different kinds of cleanses, and tried everything when it came to, thought that I had tried everything with certain diets, and tried to heal my stomach in, you know, in ceremonies, and could feel a lot of it was ancestral. Like, I could feel the root of it, and a lot of the stuff around it, but it still wasn't healing it. You know, I could have the awareness, okay, this is connected to, you know, this goes far back, this goes deep into the ancestral stuff, this is deeply connected to trauma, this is deeply connected to unworthiness. And, you know, I was aware of all of the things that it was connected to, but I didn't have the tools to heal it, to heal the digestive system and to heal the gut. And, you know, the energy healing wasn't doing it. I tried, you know, I went to healers, I tried working on it myself, and plant medicine ceremonies, I tried to work on it myself, and there was only so much I could do. I knew that there was more. And a couple of years ago, when I was living in Costa Rica, my body was just like so inflamed. At this point, I was vegan for probably about 2 years, but eating like cooked vegan food, and my body was so inflamed. I had gained so much weight. My face was puffy all the time. I felt lethargic all the time. Like, I did not look good, and I did not feel good. It was like the worst I'd ever looked in my life, and the worst I'd ever felt in my life. And if my body would have allowed me, I would have just caved and went back to meat. But I was at that point, like, so, like, I couldn't go back. Like, I was so, like, disgusted by meat, and like my body felt revolted by it, so there was no going back. Even though, like, there was this constant doubt of, like, am I doing the wrong thing? Like, you know, not trusting my body because it felt awful and looked awful. Like I'll share pictures of like before and after eventually, but there was just so much inflammation in my body, and I couldn't understand why. Anyways, so it's been a long journey of like rediscovering my body and healing it. When I was in Costa Rica, I knew, like, you know, I was eating like beans and rice, and I felt awful. I felt absolutely awful all the time, and I didn't even want to eat because of how bad it made me feel. And there was fruit trees, so me and my brother would go on hunts to look for fruits, because there wasn't a whole lot of fruits where we were staying, but we would like walk for hours and find jackfruit, and we were eating mostly jackfruit when we were there, because neither of us were feeling good with the beans and rice, and it was both of our bodies, we were going through something very similar. Pretty much, you know, the last 5 years, it's been walking very closely with my brother, most of it, And it was nice that most of the time we were going through very similar transformations. So it was like you didn't feel so alone in what was happening and so crazy with what your body was wanting and all of these things, because he was going through it too. So it felt, it was nice that I wasn't like fully walking that path alone most of the time. Anyways, so I just knew, like, I didn't know it was possible to just eat fruit, but I knew I just wanted to eat fruit. I was like, I don't want to eat cooked food. It feels awful. I want to just eat raw foods. I want to just mainly eat fruit. That's all I wanted, was just fruit. And it was like, I felt like I was dying, like it felt, when you're like, it just felt like I was starving. Like I would eat the food and I felt dissatisfied. It felt like I would be better to not eat at all than to eat the cooked food. And that's how strong it was then. Like it was like I felt like I was poisoning my body, and I felt like I was starving it more by feeding it the cooked food. Like it was crazy. And I didn't understand that back then. I really didn't know much about fruitarians and this whole lifestyle that I live now, and that I'm so like tapped into now with, like, once you start living this lifestyle, then you start to get to know other people, and you start to get tapped into the communities, and you see there's a whole world living that way. Some people that have been living that their whole lives, like 30, 40 years or longer, living raw. Some people their whole lives, and they look like half their age, 80-year-olds looking like they're 50 years old. Like, just insane when you start to like really get into it and do your research and just experience it for yourself. Because the amount of questions and remarks I get from people, or I got from people over the years about protein and this and that, you're gonna get sick, and it's like, you gotta do it yourself. Like, you don't know until you know. You don't, just like there's opinions about plant medicine and all of these other things. It's like, until you walk this path, and not everyone is meant to, it's something that calls you. This lifestyle is not, I'm not here to push it on everyone. I'm here to inform and share my experience, so the people that are looking, that are called to this lifestyle, don't feel so alone in it, have the support that they need, so they aren't winging it and taking 5 times as long to figure it out. Then it has to, it doesn't have to be so hard. I went through a lot, and it's taken me a long time to get here, research and trying this and that not working, and just figuring it out. Now that I'm in it and I'm doing all this research, it's all there, all the answers are there, and I didn't know where to look. So to have someone to just be like, yeah, that works and this doesn't work, and that symptom means this, and this is part of the process, and just to have a guide, someone who's walked that path and that knows that's why I'm sharing it. It's not to, I understand it's not for everyone, and it's not about judging the people. It's not about judging anyone if they're not called to this lifestyle. It's not for everyone, and maybe it is one day, and maybe it's not today. And 5 years ago I would have thought I was crazy. I would have thought you were crazy if you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be raw vegan. And if you would have told me anything about what my life is now 5 years ago, when I was working my fancy job, driving my fancy cars, thinking that I had it made, and now 5 years later I'm living in a tent, traveling around and eating just fruit pretty much, and I would have thought I went bonkers. So, and I did. I lost my mind. And that's like the best thing we can do, is lose our mind. That's when we begin to remember who we are and awaken. And our body knows if we learn to listen, and that's where the plant medicine came in. The plant medicine helped me heal my relationship with my body, and it's still a work in progress. I don't know if it's ever 100%, but it's like, I can feel my body now. I can feel my emotions now. So much of the stuff that it was unprocessed has been processed, and there's still more, but I've done enough to now know what my body wants, and I can hear her and understand her, and more every day I can feel more, and everything keeps opening up. I just feel like I never thought that what I can feel and how I experience life is even possible. Like, I never would have thought that I could feel what I feel. Like, I feel like I'm living in my own magical world. Like, how I feel nature, like how I feel people, how I feel everything is just insane. Like, I can't put into words, and I'm so grateful for that. And I know that it's not just the healing with the plant medicines and all of the other healing work I've done and with all the other modalities. They've played a massive part for sure, because it's all releasing density from the body. All of these emotions, all of these trapped emotions in our body it's dense energy. It's heavy. It makes us view the world. It changes our perception of the world, you know? And when we heal those traumas, we're clearing our perception, we're clearing the distortion, and we start to see clearly, we start to feel clearly, we start to know clearly. And then as you get to know more clearly, you know what your body needs, and you start to trust your body rather than the systems, rather than the programming. You know, you start to decondition your mind. You start to drop the stories of, you need protein. We don't need 90% of what we're told we need. Sure, we need a bit of protein, but our body, like, are we told that our body builds protein, that it needs the amino acids? I was never told that, and I knew all of the bodybuilding information. I was so deeply in that world. I knew so much about nutrition, but I was never told that, because it goes against most of what we're told. So it's just like, you gotta find out for yourself. You gotta walk the walk. And I don't talk the talk without walking the walk. What I speak about is what I've walked through. My wisdom, my information that I share is from my own experience. It's not from a book. It's not from what someone else told me. And sure, I've read lots of books on what I'm passionate about now, but what I speak to is from my own experience. I've watched so many testimonials of people as well, to continue to inspire me and to support me, and also learning more, so that I can learn more about symptoms that people have, detox symptoms, and what they healed from, you know, because there's so many different diseases that people have healed with fruit fasting and juice fasting. So I like to learn more about what kind of ailments or diseases people have healed from. So when I meet new clients, I can, you know, better understand them and their health and what they're coming for and all that. So yeah, I do collect extra data and information to help me expand my awareness and my knowledge, but I'm passionate and I share about this journey because I know it from myself. I know what it's done for me, and I've experienced it firsthand. And what the fruits do, what a raw vegan diet does, is it literally taps you into a clearer, higher vibrational reality. Because, and this is again not about judgment, you are now tapped into, you are vibrating at a higher frequency because you're eating foods that have a higher frequency. You're not eating dense foods anymore. Cooked food, you have cooked the life out of the food, so it is vibrating lower. So when you're putting that into your body, you're vibrating lower. It's actually taking more energy from you than it is giving you. It takes more energy for you to digest it. You get, you know, do you ever notice how you feel after you eat? Do you feel more vibrant, or do you feel tired, like you need a nap? You shouldn't feel tired and like a nap. You know, when you eat raw food, you don't feel like that. When you eat a fruit, you feel revitalized. You feel like you could go for a run. You feel energized. So, you know, like 2 years ago, like a year and a bit ago, you know, after I got back from Costa Rica, when I was isolated pretty much for months, and I was just meditating almost all the time, and I was being very intentional with what foods I was buying, and noticing that I just wanted fruits, and facing and the, you know, the programming that was coming up, being like, you need more than that, you need more food than that, because I wasn't eating a whole lot, but I didn't feel hungry. Like, I was listening to my body, even though it was going against everything I've been told. And I was noticing how I would feel when I ate cooked food, and how it would make me feel, and how I had less access to information or less access to the quantum field, let's say, in meditation. Nature wasn't as sparkly. I wasn't as connected. I wasn't as tapped into nature, where it didn't feel like as one with it. I was just, it felt like in a lower dimensional reality. And then when I ate fruits, I could feel my energy uplift, like I just gave myself light, and I would feel more like crystalline energy, and I could feel more energies, and I could feel more clearly within my body. And I wasn't getting digestive issues when I ate the fruits, and I wasn't getting stomach pain when I ate the fruits. And it was just like, okay, there's something here. And it's just like it just kept unraveling from there. And when I did my first juice fast, which again, it wasn't like someone told me to do it, it was like a knowing. I knew I really want to do a fruit fast, like a juice fast. I didn't know anything about juice fasting, but it was months before, like when I was just eating mostly fruit. I was like, I want to juice fast for an long extended period of time. I don't know how, I don't know when, I just know I want to do it. And then it came into my life at the perfect moment. And it just so happened that my friend had a juicer that she wasn't really using, and I just happened to be staying with her for the winter, and I just mentioned wanting to do a juice fast, and she's like, let's do one, I have a juicer. And she had done like lots of fasting before, so she had quite a bit of information about it. We just did some research and we winged it, and I got so passionate about it while doing it that I did a ton of research during my first fast, which was a 21-day juice fast. And I couldn't believe how clear I felt. I couldn't believe how it came out of my body. I couldn't believe that was in my body. I was showing the pictures to everyone. I was like, yo, what? This was in my body? Like, come on. So, I was beyond passionate about it, and how it has continued to change my life is why I'm still so passionate about it. Now I've done 3 long extended juice fasts. I'm already, I've been in this car and camping and not eating not getting all my juices. I have my juicer, but it's in the trunk of my car, and like I haven't had my juices in a month now, and I'm just like noticing the difference in my skin, in my vitality, in my energy, and everything, in how I feel. Like even just getting, starting my day with a celery juice, how much of a difference that makes in how I feel. These juices pull heavy metals from your body. It makes your body an inhabitable environment for parasites. Like, it's just crazy what it does for you. So this is why I'm still so passionate about it. And there's going to be many more videos where, when I'm settled again, who knows when that's gonna be. I'm just trusting the flow of this crazy life. But I'm gonna share more about before and after pictures, and just like even the light. Like, there's light in my eyes. Even though I'm camping and I'm tired and I'm not even getting juice, my eyes sparkle like they never used to sparkle. I don't think I've ever seen my eyes sparkle the way that I do now that I eat raw. Especially when I'm really clean with the raw, like without the sauces and stuff, because the oils and the nuts and stuff still don't feel good. And I think that they'll play a bigger role in my diet again once I'm over some of the healing, because when you're in the deep phases of the healing, which I definitely know I still am, because I still have some digestive issues, but they're slowly mending. And every time I do one of these fasts and I clear more stuff out, I feel better and better. So I know that I'm on the right path, but it's still been a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. So it's just patience and trusting my body when it calls me back to the juices, and listening to what fruits it wants. I did a 11-day watermelon fast, and that was incredibly healing and shifted so much for me. And now my body's like mostly wanting pineapple, and I'm just listening. I trust my body knows what it needs and knows what it wants, because I don't know what's happening inside there. I don't know why it's hurting all the time. I don't know why it's bloated, but I know that when I trust and surrender to my body, massive shifts happen. And that's when the deepest healing happens within our bodies, is when we trust our bodies. And the other piece, I'll probably do a more in-depth video of how juicing and cleaning the body physically is connected to trauma, and the mental, how it's all connected, and then talk more about how it heals trauma and how it can help heal the mental, the physical, and how it, like, clearing out of the parasites. And we can go way more into the, into astral parasites, into more of the demonic shit, and what this is really doing on all levels, because it is way more than physical. This is cleansing you deeply, spiritually, emotionally, psychically, on all levels. It's I have no words for how powerful it is. And I'm so excited when new clients sign up with me, because I'm like, whoa, who's this person? Like, what is your soul calling you up for? Like, because I know the power and the transformation that comes after this, that, and I know that your soul doesn't get called, your body and soul is not calling you to something like this for some small reason. There's major healing and upheaval and change and transformation that comes out of this. And it's not everyone gets called to it. So I get really excited to see what kind of people come, feel called to work with me. And mainly also because it's like, I'm not addressing just the physical. I mean, naturally, sure, you're gonna be dealing with emotions, you're gonna be dealing with old memories as it comes up, as you're purging your body physically. Those things naturally come up. So it's like, even if I'm not guiding you, you're just doing a self-guided protocol, that stuff's gonna come up. But when you're actually working deeply with me, and you're doing the fast, and we're doing calls weekly, and really hopping into the energetics, that's when I get really excited, because we get to really unravel some stuff. We really get to take the opportunity of, it's like the doors are open as you're like purging physically, and it's like all of the energetics that are ready to be released are just on the surface. And it's so much easier to clear and release those things, because they're already like unclogged and unstuck. Kind of, the reflection is in the body. Everything is, all the plaque and waste is like unstuck from the lining of your intestines, and the juices have rehydrated it, and the herbs and the other ingredients are pushing it out. And like, it's very similar, when you're with the energetics of it, like all of the emotions are at the surface, the trauma is ready to be released. It's like the perfect environment to then do some energy work, to work with what is showing up from past lifetimes, from childhood, whatever it is that's coming up. It's just like, you're in the perfect space when you're doing a juice fast to do any kind of healing on yourself, whatever that may be, whether you're wanting to do mindset work, emotional work. That's why it's all connected. And I knew for a while that it was the missing piece of my toolbox of what I know my body needs and what my healing journey requires. And food is the missing piece. Food is the missing piece, I think, for a lot of people. We have to clean our bodies, our vessels. I know this video is getting long, but it's so hard to keep it short. Our vessels are what everything comes through. If our channel isn't clear, how clear is our vision going to be? If our physical body isn't clear, everything coming through it is not going to be super clear. Like, everything shifts when you clean your vessel. And then not just clean it and detox it and get the freaking parasites out of there that are creating so much disharmony, that are literally hijacked your thoughts most of the time. But You're sovereign in your body. Your body is your own. Your thoughts are your own. Your vessel is your own. It's clean, it's clear. Things aren't sticking. You can think clearly. You're more aware of your conditioning. You're more aware of your mind, more light. You know, you're making space for the light of awareness to enter, more space for your soul, more safety in your body. Like, there's so many aspects to this. There's so many different layers to why I'm so passionate about this, and why I think everyone should choose fast. I know I said I don't think it's for everyone, but the world needs it. Really, the world needs it. Especially with the shit that we're eating. It's not food. We're not eating food. You know, I'm walking around these campsites and I'm seeing what people are eating, and you know, these kids just stuffing they're camping and they're eating cereal and they're stuffing their mouths with so much chips and garbage food, and I'm like, you're not even eating food. We're poisoning our waters. We're poisoning our body, our sacred waters. And what happens when we pour oil and chemicals and crap into the water of the earth? It eventually kills all life that drink from it. It eventually will catch up. Water is life. And that goes hand in hand with our own bodies when we're poisoning our sacred waters. You know, in a plant medicine ceremony, I was shown this, you know, with what I was... another bug. I was shown this in a ceremony where the Divine Mother was showing me, like, that I was poisoning my own sacred waters, and how this goes hand in hand with how we're treating the earth. And, you know, how we heal the earth is we heal our body, because it's the same thing. Our connection to our body is a reflection of our connection to the earth. Our connection to the earth is a reflection of our connection with our body. If we want to heal anything or change anything in the world, it starts from within our own bodies, within ourselves. If we want to heal a relationship with others, with the world, it starts with ourselves. If we want to love others, it starts with ourselves. Any change we want to make and see in the world starts within us. And, you know, all of the gurus, the ascended masters, speak this. And what taps us into those knowings is the fruits, is the raw diets. You can't not be more awakened eating raw living fruits. You're eating the nectar of gods. You're eating life. You're eating pure plasma, information, codes. You know, they're living, like, I can't, man. Like, when I'm eating these fruits, I'm like breaking them open and I'm just looking at them and I'm like, how are people eating the processed stuff when we have like this stuff that just grows from the earth that tastes like candy, that's good for us and it's keeping us young and hydrated and feeling incredible and healing our bodies, and it tastes like heaven. But we're so conditioned and addicted to garbage that we're less drawn to the fruits than we are to the bag of chips, the pastas, the cooked junk, the stuff that's creating mucus in our body, the stuff that's creating homes and food for parasites within our body. Like, this is how far we've come from our truth, from ourselves, from our mother, from the Divine Mother. Anyways, this video is getting long, so I'm going to end it here. I meant to do just like a 5-10 minute video of why someone should juice fast, but I always have a hard time keeping my videos short. But the message is long. It is what it is. Anyways, that's it for now. Sending you all so much love, and if you're curious about juice fasting or just fruit fasting, sign up for a free discovery call with me, and let's chat about what's happening in your body and what's right for you, and see if this is something that aligns for you at this time, or just get right in and hop on one of my programs. But I prefer having a call first so we can really dive into you, see what's happening, and make sure that we're picking something that is aligned for you and whatever you're moving through at this time. Anyways, Much love, fam. Chat soon.